19th Amendment was passed in 1920, giving women the right to vote.
After the amendment was passed, only 1 in 3 women actually voted.
The League of Women Voters was formed by Carrie Chapman Catt to encourage women to take responsibility of the newfound right.
Today, over half of eligible women vote in public elections. Our story begins in 1824 at the Convention for the League of Women Voters.
Okay, everybody, please take a seat. I am proud to announce that Carrie Chapman Catt has been re-elected as honorary president of the League for her hard work in founding the League of Women Voters. Please welcome Carrie Chapman Catt to the stage.
It's an honor to be here today for the 4th annual convention of the League of Women Voters. I have come here today to discuss how the League of Women Voters came to be and what we have done to get to where we are today. As you may know, I'm Carrie Chapman Catt, and we'll start off today with a few words from our president, Ron Woodpark.
We have come a long ways to get to where we are today. For 80 years, women have fought for the right to vote. Even after the 19th Amendment gave us that right, only 1 in 3 women actually voted.
That is why we have formed the League of Women Voters, to encourage women to use their newfound right to make a real difference in the way government and even society works. As I once said, in the adjustment of the new order of things, we would demand an equal voice. We shall accept nothing less. But as you know, this fight didn't start with us.
Pause. She goes on about this for a while, but due to time constraints, I'm going to summarize some of it. Here, she talks about how women were treated like property, how fathers essentially sold their daughters to husbands. Husbands owned wives' land, money, and belongings. It was the wives' job to take care of the children and clean the house, while the husband's job was to work. There was little question of it. No one would dare speak up until 1848. Play.
The first Women's Rights Convention took place in 1848. This was the first time that women came together to fight for suffrage. Here, the National Women's Suffrage Association and the American Women's Suffrage Association were formed. These organizations began to fight for suffrage. Later, they joined forces to create the National American Women's Suffrage Association.
Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton helped form the National Women's Suffrage Association. Susan B. Anthony drafted the first draft of the 19th Amendment in 1878. It passed 41 years later and is known as the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. The rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
Susan B. Anthony was a dear friend and a mentor to me. She helped me become what I am today. It's a tragedy that she passed before her amendment was. She fought all her life for suffrage, but never gave to herself. Finally,
in 1920, after 80 years of fighting, women got the right to vote.
But in New York, only 1 in 3 women actually voted, compared to twice that number of men who voted. There are many reasons why
women do not vote. They often feel pressure not to vote. Sometimes it's easier just to give in instead of picking a fight.
There's even a pamphlet published discouraging women to vote. Because 90% of women either do not want to or do not care. Because it means competition of women with men instead of cooperation. Because 80% of women eligible to vote are married and only can double or annual their husband's vote. Because there can be no benefit, consumer rate with additional expense involved. Because in some states, more women voting than men will place the government under a petticoat rule. It is because of this pressure that makes it hard for women to vote.
Another reason why women do not vote is because they don't have access to a lot of resources.
And women haven't voted before. Most women don't know how to vote.
That is why we have formed the League of Women Voters.
Yes, our purpose is to encourage men and women alike to vote. It is our job to gather resources so that voters can access the best information on voting topics. We conduct studies on political subjects. These studies are unbiased so that voters can decide for themselves what they believe. And that is why it's so important that you carry out the League of Women Voters.
We need to carry on the legacy. We need to, by making posters, writing plays, making leaflets, and most importantly, holding registration and election dodgers to help encourage men and women to take responsibility to vote.
It is our job to guide them through the voting process.
Let's fast forward here. Here we go. Play.
Although the number of women voters haven't changed much over the past few years, but we have changed in spirit. Before, there wasn't even a question whether or not we vote. The answer was always no. We have opened up so many new conversations to people. And we as a league
And the people will fight for women to be able to take responsibility. We will grow. We already have 15 city leagues and 24 state leagues across the country. So don't lose hope, my friends, for I believe more women will vote soon.
So how did you hear it?
Well, but I think we forgot to mention a few things.
And what is that?
Maybe how the women's suffrage impacted other women's rights. Now we can vote for fairer laws, and job owners will treat us with more respect, because we have more power.
I can already see my ads asking for women employees. So what do you think we should change for next time?
Personally, I think we should have snack bowl.
And the League of Women Voters is still around today, providing resources for men and women across the country. They hand out voting guides in places like Target about candidates from interviews they collected. They also hold registration sessions and even host presidential debates.
Their efforts have succeeded. In 1870,
1976.
that's right, thanks, Maud. Thanks, Carrie. In 1976, 58.8% of women voted.
And in 2008, 60.4% of women voted, even more than men.
So remember, where it may be your right to vote, it is your responsibility to use that right. We have worked so hard to get you that right. It's the least you can do to take responsibility of that right.
In the words of Carrie Chapman Catt, to the wrongs that need resistance, to the rights that need assistance, to the future and the distance,
Give yourself.